Welcome as we count down the top female pirates of all time. From fierce warriors to cunning rogues, these pirate queens have carved their names into the annals of history with their daring exploits and legendary tales. Starting off our list at number 5, we have Rachel Wall, the infamous pirate who terrorized the waters of New England with her daring escapades and cunning tricks. Though her reign was short-lived, Wall's audacious raids and clever schemes have left an indelible mark on pirate lore. Born in Pennsylvania, Rachel fled her home as a teenager and eventually settled in Boston, where she married a fisherman named George Wall. The couple struggled to make ends meet. In 1781, George managed to persuade Rachel to abandon her job as a servant in Beacon Hill and instead become a pirate. Together, they seized control of the vessel known as the Essex and began to prey upon any unsuspecting individuals along the New Hampshire coastline. Their primary objective was to rob and plunder from all those who crossed their path. Their tactics were both cunning and ruthless. Rachel, a notorious seductress, was said to have led countless ships to their doom with her siren-like allure. During storms, they would disguise their vessel to appear damaged, with Rachel requesting for help from passing ships. Once the unsuspecting rescuers came within reach, the Walls and their crew would ambush them, rob them of their valuables, and mercilessly kill them. Rachel and her crew committed a heinous act of killing at least 24 sailors, while robbing a dozen ships over the course of a year. However, in 1782, her own fortunes took a turn for the worse when a storm wrecked her boat and resulted in the death of her partner, George, and many other members of the crew. Despite this tragedy, Rachel, one of the few survivors, remained undeterred and eventually made her way back to Boston, where she continued her criminal activities on land. Rachel's actions led to a long list of charges against her. In March of 1789, a 17-year-old girl accused Rachel of assault and battery, leading to Rachel being sentenced to the death penalty. Following her arrest, she wrote a detailed confession chronicling her litany of broken laws, including theft. On October 8, 1789, Rachel was publicly executed by hanging in front of thousands of witnesses on Boston Common. As the noose was tightened around her neck, she became the final woman to be executed in the state of Massachusetts. Next up at number 4, we have the legendary Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen of Ireland. Grace O'Malley, a notorious pirate of the 16th century, was born in 1530 into a prominent family that ruled over the western coastlines of Ireland. Grace always dreamt of sailing alongside her father as a child, but she was never allowed to due to her father's concerns that her long hair would get caught in the ship's ropes. To fulfill her desire, Grace cut her hair short and earned the nickname Gren Mahaul, which translates to bald. In 1546, she married and became a powerful figure in politics and finance. She had 3 children with her husband, but tragedy struck in 1565 when her husband was murdered in a land dispute. When there was an attempt to seize her castle, Grace fiercely fought back and compelled the Clan Joyce to retreat. She then established her primary residence at Clare Island, which later became known as Granuailles Castle. Legend has it that she had a brief romance with a shipwreck survivor, but it ended abruptly when he was killed by Clan MacMahon of Ballyvoy. Seeking revenge, Grace launched an attack on Clan MacMahon's stronghold at Doona Castle and eliminated his killers on Cahir Island. Her act of vengeance earned her the nickname Dark Lady of Doona. Despite the challenges she faced as a woman in a male-dominated world, she commanded a formidable fleet of 20 ships that challenged the supremacy of the British monarchy. Grace found love again and married Richard Burke, a powerful chieftain with extensive landholdings. Richard's status allowed Grace to command more ships from multiple ports and continue her seafaring exploits. Grace gave birth to a son, Toby, while aboard one of her vessels. Shortly after Toby's arrival, pirates attacked Grace's ship. Amidst the chaos below deck, Grace emerged with determination, musket in hand, to lead her crew in battle. Displaying bravery on par with any man, she spurred her crew to victory, personally dispatching 2 pirate captains. This courageous act further solidified Grace's reputation as a formidable leader. Within a year of marriage, Grace ended their union and changing the locks on their castle. Around 1577, Grace found herself imprisoned for a year in various Irish jails. Her fortunes changed when influential British figures assisted with her release. Grace returned home and spearheaded a rebellion against the British. In retaliation, one of her sons met a tragic demise, while others were held as prisoners. Her estates, fortress, and fleet were seized by the authorities. Grace herself faced arrest, but was later pardoned. Exhausted by the ongoing conflict, Grace resolved to confront the Queen directly. Legend has it that their encounter, conducted in Latin due to language barriers, resulted in a pivotal agreement. In exchange for the release of Grace's kin and restoration of her property, she pledged 500 men and her fleet to support the English cause in Ireland. O'Malley was able to return to her pirate activities once again. However, despite this apparent resolution, historical records suggest that O'Malley and her sons continued their piratical activities until her death in 1603. Coming in at number 3, we have Mary Read, the pirate who disguised herself as a man to join the crew of Calico Jack Rackham. Born in England in the late 17th century, Mary's mother came up with a scheme to impersonate Mary's deceased half-brother to scam the boy's grandmother. Mary took on the identity of her brother and embarked on a series of traditionally male occupations, starting with serving as a soldier and later as a merchant sailor. As a sailor, Read's vessel fell into the hands of pirates. Disguised as a man, she was forcibly enlisted by buccaneers after they attacked the vessel on which she was employed. By 1720, she had become a member of pirate John Calico Jack Rackham's crew, alongside his companion Anne Bonny, both of whom initially mistook her for a man. It wasn't until Bonny expressed her attraction to Read that the latter revealed her true gender. To alleviate Rackham's suspicions of a romantic connection between them, Bonny disclosed Read's identity as a woman. On November 15, 1720, Captain Jonathan Barnett, a pirate hunter, caught Rackham's crew off guard while they were hosting a rum party with another group of Englishmen at off-the-coast Jamaica. Following a volley of gunfire that disabled the pirate vessel, Rackham's crew and their guests sought refuge in the ship's hold, leaving only Read, Bonny, and one other individual to confront Barnett's boarding party. Subsequently, Read, Bonny, Rackham, and his crew were arrested and brought to trial in Spanish Town, Jamaica. They all received death sentences for their acts of piracy. However, the women invoked the legal defense of being pregnant, which temporarily halted their executions. During her court appearance, Mary Read denied committing adultery or fornication with any man aboard the ship. She was nonetheless tried after the nature of her crimes was established. Read succumbed to a violent fever while incarcerated on April 28, 1721. Records from St. Catherine's Church in Jamaica document her burial. Interestingly, there are no records of her baby's burial, suggesting the possibility that she passed away while pregnant. Taking the runner-up spot at number 2, we have the fiery Anne Bonny, the notorious pirate known for her fierce temper and fearless attitude. Being the consequence of her father's affair, Anne Bonny's life started with a rather difficult upbringing. Her father would dress Anne like a boy and lie about her gender to his co-workers. Despite this, Anne grew up to be a fearless and independent woman. In the summer of 1718, Anne's new husband took on the role of a pirate informant for the governor. His work led to the arrest of several pirates, which Anne was not happy about. Anne immersed herself in the pirate culture and frequented bars where she met John Calico Jack Rackham, with whom she formed a romantic relationship. Rackham proposed a financial settlement to Bonny's husband in exchange for a divorce, but he rejected the offer and threatened Rackham. Despite this, Bonny and Rackham fled the island together, and she joined his crew in disguise as a man. Anne was skilled in handling both pistol and sword, easily rivaling the best of Calico Jack's crew. Her fiery spirit and courageous nature were evident in a legendary incident where she almost killed a man who tried to assault her. Only Rackham and Mary Read knew her true gender until her pregnancy became evident. Rackham arranged for her to give birth in Cuba before they resumed their piratical pursuits. After divorcing her husband, Bonny married Rackham at sea. Together with Mary Read, they commandeered a ship from Nassau Harbor and embarked on recruiting a new crew along the way. Anne formed a close bond with fellow female pirate Mary Read, and together they spearheaded a series of daring raids on small fishing boats and trading sloops during the summer and fall of 1720. Their reign of terror came to an abrupt halt in October of 1720 when Calico Jack's vessel was attacked by a group of pirate hunters. Anne and Mary narrowly escaped execution due to both being pregnant at the time. There is no evidence of Bonny's release, which has led to rumors about what happened to her. Some believe that her family may have helped her escape, and that she may have relocated to the American colonies, where she supposedly passed away in the 1780s. However, this theory seems unlikely, as there is a burial record in Spanish Town that mentions the burial of an Anne Bonny on December 29, 1733. And finally, claiming the coveted #1 spot on our list, we have none other than Ching Shih, the fearsome pirate queen of the South China Sea. Ching Shih was born into a life of poverty and worked as a prostitute in a Chinese brothel. However, her fate changed when she married a powerful corsair named Ching Shih in 1801. Together, the couple created a fearsome pirate army that consisted of hundreds of ships and over 40,000 men. After her husband's death in 1807, Ching Shih continued to rule the seas with her lover, Lieutenant Chang Po, by her side. Her pirate army followed a strict code of conduct with severe punishment for anyone who violated it. A pirate was to ask for permission prior to going ashore. Disobedience would result in ear-slitting for the first offense, followed by execution for subsequent violations. Stolen goods were to be officially recorded before distribution. Any mistreatment of women, whether captured or otherwise, requires authorization from the quartermaster. Despite being a pirate, Ching Shih was a great negotiator and was able to strike a deal with the British and Portuguese natives in 1810. In 1810, Ching Shih made a bold move by sailing her entire fleet of 260 junks into the harbor of Canton. The display of their flags was a grand gesture that caught the attention of the authorities. Despite her reputation as a fearsome pirate, she demanded a pardon for herself and her crew. It was a brave move, but it paid off as her request was granted under favorable conditions. The pirate crew was allowed to keep their looted treasures, but they had to surrender most of their ships and weapons. The Chinese authorities seem to have realized that it was better to have these notorious pirates on their side rather than against them. Many pirate crews were given the option to join the Imperial Chinese Navy, which was tasked with the responsibility of eradicating piracy in the region. Ching Shih got married to Chang Po and continued their life together in Canton. Later they moved to Fujian, where they became parents to a son. Ching Shih then returned to Canton, where she established a gambling establishment that doubled as a smuggling operation. She dedicated herself to running this thriving business until her death at the age of 69 in 1844. Ching Shih ruled the seas with an iron fist, earning her the title of the most legendary female pirate in history. And there you have it, the top female pirates of all time, each one a legend in her own right. Until next time, may your sails be full and your treasure chests overflowing. Like and subscribe for more content.